hope, but I must admit, girl, I feel a little jealousy. Every time I see ya, I break the golden rule. I had a crush on you, girl, from we was in high school. But homeboy beat me to the deal because I never told ya. Now he plan to take you down the aisle to have and hold ya. But oh, girl, if I had you, the things that we could do. Girl, if I had you, all the things that we could do. If loving you is wrong, I don't wanna be right. I'll be doing wrong the rest of my life. I'll be doing wrong the rest of my life. Oh, girl. Should be offering you congratulations, but how can I, girl, when my heart is aching? I wonder how it is to love you, my dear. I wonder how it is to run my fingers to your hair. Now I don't mean to seem like a snake in the grass, but girl, you make me begin the knees when you cross. If he ever breaks your heart and make you cry, I will be right here to dry your weeping eyes. Oh, girl, if I had you, the things that we could do. Girl, if I had you, all the things that we could do. If loving you is wrong, I don't wanna be right. I'll be doing wrong the rest of my life. I'll be doing wrong the rest of my life. Oh, girl. Oh, girl. You got me tossing and turning inside my bed. Girl, I can't get you out of my head. Every night and day, I hope and I pray there would be a reason for you to come my way. Pretty woman, pretty girl, stop a while, talk a while. Girl, you're oh so fine. Go to my head like red, red wine. Oh, girl, if I had you, the things that we could do. Girl, if I had you, all the things that we could do. If loving you is wrong, I don't wanna be right. I'll be doing wrong the rest of my life.
Tonight, thousands of business owners are still waiting to receive their business licenses. Government says they've got a solution in the pipeline. Also, police have taken one man into custody for questioning in connection with those death threats made against the Prime Minister. What charges could be levied against him? We'll give you the full rundown. And later, Bay Street is overrun with the beauty of Bahamian culture tonight. We are live from downtown Nassau as Junior Junkanoo returns. This is Eyewitness News, and it starts now.
Eyewitness News is brought to you by BTC. Link up with better value. Link up with BTC.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Theo Seeley. Thanks so much for joining us for the evening edition. Well, the business community has been in an uproar as of late due to the recent policy decisions on applying for business licenses. Today, during the Office of the Prime Minister's weekly press briefing, Minister of Economic Affairs Michael Halkias explained the reasoning behind these new requirements and why there have been so many delays in the process. Our Tyler Simonet joins me live in studio with the details. Tyler, what can you tell us?
Theo, there are currently some 30,000 businesses waiting to have their licenses approved. It's safe to say these business owners are unsatisfied with how long it takes to get their licenses approved, not to mention all the new documents the Department of Inland Revenue is asking them for, such as proof of income or real property tax assessment numbers. According to Minister Halkias, about 47% of businesses applying for licenses are underreporting their income, and the government is trying to get a handle on those that are slipping through the cracks.
The Department of Inland Revenue cannot just look the other way when someone is providing a number and just take the number at face value. Unfortunately, it causes a bit of a delay. There is an issue. What the Inland Revenue has to do is verify that what businesses are reporting as best as they can is accurate. The law empowers Inland Revenue to request additional information.
The Department of Inland Revenue is doing all it can to ensure the government is getting its revenue. The Bahamas Chamber of Commerce also voicing their dissatisfaction with multiple aspects of the new policies, but in particular the requirement to supply the department with a real property tax assessment number, even if a business is renting. Alkita says they're not trying to make the public do the DIR's job of ensuring real property tax arrears are up to date, but just asking for assistance.
We're not asking any business to be concerned about whether the landlord has paid his real property tax or not. All we're saying is, in your renewal, if you have the assessment number, give it to us. If you cannot get it, just tell us the name of the landlord to whom you pay your rent and the location of your business. This will eventually benefit us all as we can increase the number of properties on the roll. The more people that we get on the roll, we can then begin to look again at reducing rates.
Halkitis admits the DIR may have its shortfalls, but they are working tirelessly to assist the public.
Because there are, people from the very small businesses to the very large businesses are now applying for either renewals or new business licenses. We have decided to fast track a certain category of licenses. So your taxi drivers, straw vendors, roadside vendors, we've agreed to fast track those. We've brought in some additional, or we've deployed additional employees to the Department of Inland Revenue to deal with this busy period, and as well those workers are working overtime. We agree that we should have more consistent communication with the public, and we undertake to do that. And we are looking to improve our customer service.
Theo, all business licenses that are awaiting approval for their renewal are valid until March 31st, as the DIR works out the kinks of the new policies introduced. Minister Alkita says moving forward, the department has commissioned over 20 people to assist in getting those business licenses out faster. Reporting live in studio, I'm Tyler Simonet. Back to you at the desk, Theo.
Thanks for that report tonight, Tyler. Well, after a local daily reported that government has allegedly approved a hike in the amount you'll contribute to national insurance, Eyewitness News has been trying to gather more details on that and as to whether or not that alleged increase is true. Well, Press Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, Clint Watson, telling media today that nothing has been presented to him just yet. Watson was pressed today as to whether or not government thinks the average Bahamian will be able to handle the increases introduced this year alone, a hike in BPL bills, the road traffic department having an increase there as well, and the proposed NIB contribution hike. As for the answer, he says government is conscious of the needs of the public.
Can't say much on the increase because it hasn't been announced yet from cabinet, other than what you would have heard the minister talking about the fact that a decision has been made. We don't know what decision has been made as far as what it will be. What I can tell you though, as far as, I think your question was all of these increases, the cabinet is mindful of that. And that's why programs and designs are being implemented to try and soften the blow upon the Bahamian people. But I can't say whether or not there has been an agreed increase, because has not come to my desk yet. I think Prime Minister Davis will announce that if that is the case, and we'll talk about if they are going to increase it, how it'll be implemented, and all of that will come. We will not leave the Bahamian people in the dark, but I don't want to say any more on that yet because an announcement has not yet been made in that regard.
Less than 1 week after verbal threats were made against the life of the Prime Minister Philip Davis, police revealing today a man has been taken into police custody for questioning. While police have not yet indicated what sort of charges could be brought against the culprit or culprits who carried out these threats, our Devontae Hannah spoke with a local attorney for her take on what those possible charges could look like. Here's that report.
A 58-year-old man of Jamaica Road has been arrested yesterday and taken into questioning in connection to the death threats made against the life of Prime Minister Philip Davis. This according to a press statement from police released earlier today. It comes less than a week after the announcement was made by Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernando, who says the action will not be tolerated and whomever is suspected of making the threat will be punished to the fullest extent of the law.
We will throw the book at them.
But what could be the possible charge and subsequent punishment for committing such a crime? Well, tonight, noted attorney Ramona Farquharson Seymour says it may not be as stiff as you think.
They'll be looking at a misdemeanor, meaning something minor, I don't envision that they should be incarcerated.
Farkaman Seymour says there are two types of threats found in the law books: threats of death in Section 418 of the Penal Code and threats of harm in Section 203, the latter having the stiffer penalty, which is 1 month imprisonment. She says the issue now is the fact that the incident has not been made clear.
We're hearing a lot about the threat, but not specifically or exactly what was said. And that's quite important. The words, the circumstances in which the call was made, and maybe even the conversation.
So here's what we know so far. On February 3rd, the Office of the Prime Minister held a special press conference revealing the nation's leader received two phone calls threatening his life, one 15 minutes after the other, which many believe could be linked to this very moment at a Parliament Square protest earlier in the week.
With the Prime Minister of the Bahamas! Hey, when are you on assassinate him? That's what he need.
Security has been ramped up, but the Office of the Prime Minister has made it clear that it is business as usual for Davis. Farkaman Seymour says what is important is that the facts be made clear.
I'm hoping that they would, at some point, say to the public exactly what was in fact said, particularly if someone is eventually charged.
Though details at this time are scarce, officers commit that investigations are ongoing. Devontae Hanno, Eyewitness News.
The man believed to be responsible for the 2021 murder of businessman Leon Griffin, the husband of former Progressive Liberal Party Cabinet Minister Melanie Griffin, was committed to stand trial in the Supreme Court yesterday. The accused, DeMargio Lockhart, otherwise known as Toons, is said to have gunned down Griffin in front of his Winton Meadows home back on December 23, 2021. Proceedings against him began in the Magistrates Court before Chief Magistrate Joanne Ferguson Pratt on January 17, 2022, and it was formally brought to an end when he was presented with a voluntary bill of indictment, which was fast-tracking his case to the Supreme Court for trial. Lockhart is currently on remand at the Bahamas Department of Corrections and is expected to be arraigned in the Supreme Court next month. For a full read on this story, log on to our website at ewnews.com. An all-points bulletin released for a man who police say is wanted for murder. Authorities are on the hunt for 27-year-old Jadre Evans, also known as Mice. Police say his last known address was Datura Avenue, South Beach. He is described as slim build, of medium brown complexion, and stands between 5 feet 7 inches and 5 feet 10 inches tall. Anyone with any information that can assist police in this arrest of Jadre Evans, you're asked to call 911-919, Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS, or telephone your nearest police station. Police tell us tonight that another teen girl is missing, and they're hoping that the public can assist them with finding her. 13-year-old Santisha Agaro was last seen in Yellow Elder Gardens yesterday. Authorities say she stands 5 feet 3 inches tall, is of slim build and brown complexion. If you have seen the teen girl in this picture on your television screen, you're asked to contact police at 911-919 or Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS. Now, police have also released an all-points bulletin on a man they want to bring in for questioning in regards to attempted child stealing. You can see a composite sketch of the man who police say they're looking for. While his name is unknown, authorities say he is believed to be between the age of 20 to 25, dark brown complexion, of slim build, and stands between 5 feet 7 inches and 5 feet 10 inches tall. Well, still to come in news tonight from the crime news, officers of the Fox Hill Division have released an all-points bulletin on Jermaine Roll, who they say is wanted for housebreaking. Authorities have not indicated his age nor his last known address, but they are hoping that members of the public who have seen this APB on him might be able to assist them with finding him. Roll is said to be of dark brown complexion and is of medium build. Anyone with any information that can assist police with finding him, you're asked to call 911-919, Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS, or your nearest police station. Well, in response to yesterday's heated uproar in the House of Assembly, Chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party, Fred Mitchell, says the party is proud of the actions of House Speaker Patricia DeVoe in the face of what they are calling unprovoked, intemperate actions by members of the opposition Free National Movement. Mitchell revealing this much in a statement late last evening following yesterday's uproar that saw opposition members taking to their feet demanding that government answer their questions. According to opposition leader Michael Pintard, their actions were in protest against government's failure to participate in the monthly question and answer period. Mitchell, in his statement, says those actions led by Pintard were disgraceful and interrupted the people's business. The PLP chairman says the Davis administration is committed to carrying on with their work regardless of the noise in the market. And the opposition is vowing to turn up the heat following yesterday's House proceedings, and at a special meeting held at the party's headquarters last night, the opposition leader laid out his plans to do that. Our Leah Cooper has the details in this next report.
Starting next week, opposition leader Michael Pintard, through the Public Accounts Committee, will be summoning permanent secretaries and heads of corporations to answer questions he says was raised by the Bahamian people. He says this much following an explosive sitting of the House of Assembly yesterday after the governing side did not go forward with question and answer time.
We've written the Prime Minister about many national issues, hoping that he would be a big man and respond in a favorable way to recommendations from the Bahamian people through us. We've used the Public Accounts Committee, and we've written every permanent secretary in the Bahamas. One of them responded. We've written the Commissioner with responsibility for the freedom of information and have not been able to access the relevant information that we need.
That said, Pintard vows to get in some, quote, good trouble, doubling down on his pledge to put the government's feet to the proverbial fire.
It's important to show up at their office and occupy some of those offices to get their attention. This administration is undemocratic. Sometimes we're on our feet in the House and the microphones are off. We're not children, and we will not be quiet whenever we believe our rights are being abused.
And to add to that, Deputy Chair of the Free National Movement, Heather Hunt, is calling for the public to also play their part.
Perhaps citizens can write in letters to the editor. Perhaps citizens can do more by way of writing into their MP and holding their feet to the fire, attending their association and constituency meetings.
She adds, though, that the public must conduct themselves responsibly.
Not to, become vigilantes like you hear some calling for. That's not our position. We advocate for responsible citizen engagement, and that's what we'd be encouraging as we, as the official opposition, continue to, like our leader would say, turn up the heat on the government.
Former Speaker of the House, Halsey Moultrie, criticized both sides of the political divide yesterday for the roles both political parties played in yesterday's blow-up. He also indicated that the Minnis-led administration refused to allow for a question and answer period while they were in power. According to House Rule 39, subsection 2, unless the government determines otherwise, the House shall proceed on the second Wednesday in each month with the agenda that allows for question time. Moultrie, since becoming an independent speaker, has been calling for an amendment to these rules, as he says it erodes the ability for the legislative branch of government to hold the executive branch accountable. Leah Cooper, Eyewitness News.
Well, Junkanoo veterans had their dance on Bay Street and in the spotlight for the Boxing Day and New Year's Day celebrations. Well, tonight they're taking over downtown Nassau with the return of the Junior Junkanoo Parade. Our Laurencia Smith is there and enjoying all the fun on Bay Street tonight. Laurencia, how are the festivities going so far?
Well, Theo, you said it best. The little ones are definitely taking Bay Street by storm. Now, this is the first parade after almost 2.5 years, obviously due to the pandemic. And I can tell you the parade started about an hour and 20 minutes ago. And about 5 schools have already made their way up to Bay, and they definitely have not missed a beat. And the costumes are beautiful, the sound is beautiful, and the little ones are having the time of their lives. Now, we spoke with Youth, Sports and Culture Minister Mario Bolag earlier today, and he recommitted his support for our young Junkanooers. I'm going to continue to enjoy the festivities here on Bay. So live from Bay Street and Parliament Street, I'm Laurencia Smith. Back to you at the desk, Theo.
Thank you so much for that report, Laurencia. Continue to enjoy the festivities on Bay Street this evening. Well, if you've got a news tip or if you've seen a news in the making, please call the Eye on News hotline at 397-6397. We also invite you to send your letters to the editor for publication on all of our social media platforms at Eyewitness News Bahamas at gmail.com. And if you're watching on our Facebook or YouTube page, please share your thoughts about today's stories in the comments section. We want to hear from you. Well, still to come tonight, the family of Kesh Darville, who died at PMH 1 month ago, says they are still waiting on answers from hospital officials as to how she died. We've got that story coming up. And later, 7 weeks left in the crawfish season, and fishery stakeholders uncover a new poaching trend. Tonight, we'll tell you exactly what that is. We've got more on that right after this break.
The Bahamas' #1 fleet management software, backed by Azuga, a Bridgestone company. Schedule your free demo today.
Welcome back. Here's a look at your Eyewitness News gas tracker for this evening. Esso coming in at $5.46 per gallon. Rubis sitting at $5.16, and Shell coming in at $5.29 per gallon. Welcome back. Transport officials revealing today that the MV Legacy, which was en route to Abaco, has run aground near Spanish Wells. We are told that the ship was carrying 4,500 gallons of diesel fuel, 5 vehicles, a tar truck, and other cargo items. Transport officials in a press statement issued late this afternoon indicating that the vessel is currently posing no threat to the environment. The chief counselor for Spanish Wells, Robert Roberts, providing Eyewitness News with the latest details on that mishap.
The MV Legacy ran aground Wednesday morning at around 8 a.m. At that time, there was no way to really get to them because the tide was high and the weather was rough. So yesterday afternoon at 2:30, the 7 passengers on board were taken off and brought to Spanish Wells, where they then forwarded on to North Eleuthera and had a charter flight to carry them to Abaco. Today, at 3:30 p.m., the crew was taken off. So we removed 15 of the crew off, 9 of which have left Spanish Wells about 45 minutes ago to go to Nassau, and 6 have remained on the island to go back to the boat tomorrow.
Roberts is hopeful that good weather over the next few days will make it easy to get that ship back up and running. He's also hopeful that the vessel received minimal damage.
Right now, she's in a precarious position. We've got 2 days of good weather where the wind's going to be favorable. So let's all hope we can get something done during that time.
With some 7 weeks left in the current crawfish season, our Laurentia Smith spoke with stakeholders in the fisheries industry, and that dialogue led to the revelation of some new poaching trends that they have seen this season. Here's that report.
Historically, Dominican poachers are known for looting our Bahamian waters for crawfish. And tonight, the Commercial Fisheries and Allies Association President Adrian LaRota telling us that another group is leading this trend.
It has decreased from Dominican poachers dramatically. I mean, we still have problems of the day boaters coming over from Florida who would come in and who would harvest product. And, at year's end, they probably harvest just as much product as the Dominicans would have been harvesting. But in terms of poaching from the south, that's been basically brought down to almost nothing.
LaRota also telling us that so far for the season has just been average for fishermen. Now, last season crawfish prices were around $27 per pound. And for this season?
Some operators are getting less than $15. Some are getting, at around $17 a pound. But this year, the market price is actually much lower for fishers than it would have been last year. And all that. I mean, some folks may say that I'm sure the public would probably say that's a good thing.
National Fisheries Association head Keith Carroll also acknowledged that lobster prices are falling, but harvesting remains high. According to him, buyers are telling fishermen that business demands are too high and they're looking for more affordable seafood choices.
They're not buying as fast as they were buying years ago. I don't know. It's because of the war and people's not going out. People are not going to the restaurants like how they used to do, or they're just buying things that food that is cheaper. I don't know.
Amidst concerns of financial slump this year, LaRota says he doesn't see any major impact on the industry.
That's improved. I mean, the COVID years were the worst years for us because no restaurants were open, and that's what it was. So it wasn't so much of a matter of people not wanting to get lobster, they just were not dining out, or didn't have the ability to dine out. So we're hoping, as things move from year to year, that we won't really see a recession, because there's always talk of a recession. And lobster is a luxury item.
The crawfish season starts August 31st and ends March 31st. According to the Ministry of Marine Resources, the legal measurement for a whole crawfish is 3 1/4 inches. And when the tail is separated, a tail length is 5 1/2 inches. Laurentia Smith, Eyewitness News.
As relatives of the late Kenise Darville prepare for her homegoing service this coming Saturday, they tell Eyewitness News that they're still awaiting an update from government on what led to Darville's passing while at the country's main health care facility, Princess Margaret Hospital. PMH officials say an investigation has been launched into Darville's death, but the family wants to know what's taking so long. Our Jose Etienne is on the story tonight.
It's been nearly a month since Kenise Simonette Darville died at the Princess Margaret Hospital, and to date, relatives are still longing for answers from officials as to what exactly led to Darville's death.
We believe that as they continue to do their investigations, and we still are awaiting the results of the investigation, we believe that at the end of it all, it'll be something that can benefit us, our families.
Wilson spoke at the memorial held for Darville on Wednesday evening. She was joined by another relative who maintains that Darville did not have to lose her life the way she did.
She did not have to go that way. She did not, because there's so much people who could have helped, but because of the negligence, it was too late.
Before her death, Darville was pursuing a certificate program at the Bahamas Agricultural and Marine Science Institute. Her abrupt passing, however, has left her former classmates feeling distraught.
They were expected to graduate this May, so of course this is a blow for our Bamsi Boer family, as both Mr. and Mrs. Darville were not only students but active participants in our Bamsi community.
However, family members and friends assert that last night's memorial was about promoting a sense of community healing as they are still grappling with Darville's passing.
This is
beyond important to us to remember our dear friends and sister in her very unfortunate, untimely passing. So this brings great joy to us to remember her.
We know that a lot of people wanted to share, and she impacted so many people. And so we just had to come out and make sure that the community was a part of what we did tonight. And we really appreciate the outpouring of love. And they shared their experiences with kidneys and how she impacted their lives.
Now, Darville's passing is just one of several incidents where individuals have claimed negligence at the hands of PMH staff. With this incident landing at their doorstep, Darville's loved ones say enough is enough.
I would hope going forward that something like this doesn't happen anymore. Persons can, there's something needs to be put in place so persons can be held accountable.
Hopefully, no one will have to experience something that we had to experience.
Her voice will not be silenced. It will not be silenced because there has to be a change, and that was her main message in her Facebook Live.
Jose Etienne, Eyewitness News.
Minister of Works and Utilities Alfred Sayers revealing the major remodeling of Gladstone Road is a work in progress. Sayers on the sidelines of an event telling media today that though some work has already commenced, the most important part, which is the consultation with stakeholders, will begin within the coming month. In recent weeks, government has been on the receiving end of heavy criticism, placing them under the microscope due to its major roadwork projects like the one on Village Road, as many residents and businesses grew fed up with the massive undertaking that has yet to be completed. Tonight, Sayers says the Gladstone Road project will be a collaborative effort between all major stakeholders.
Before we begin the work, we have to listen to the people. So we will be having later this month a public consultation. So letters have gone out, notices will be issued so that the stakeholders in Gladstone Road would have the opportunity to come to the town meeting, to see the design, to be informed about probable timelines in terms of commencement, but we need to hear from the people and ensure that the collective wisdom of Gladstone Road is incorporated into the final design.
Well, motorists are certainly benefiting from the paving of Gladstone Road, which Sayers says was to ensure a smooth passageway, but he says more upgrades are still needed and will be kept in mind as the remodeling phase commences.
Working with the utility partners, because utility poles will have to be moved from their current position so that the dual carriageway would be facilitated. And there are also several acquisition of land so that we have the space to provide sidewalks for pedestrian, shoulder for vehicles that may be in distress, and also to ensure that the kind of modern day infrastructure is in place where people can walk in the mornings and exercise and in a safe manner.
Well, still to come in Eyewitness News, Valentine's Day is just around the corner, and a story on a budding company, Berry Sweet Treats, is something you won't want to miss. That's coming up, but here's a check on the weather forecast.
This segment of Eyewitness News is brought to you by Lucayan Car Rental. Great rental, great service, and great cars.
You're looking at live pictures over Tonic Williams-Darling Highway, where the temperature is right around 70 degrees with an expected dip to 73. Welcome back. Well, Valentine's Day is just around the corner, and the team at Hands for Hunger has launched a very interesting initiative in an effort to get the community to spread a little more love. It's something they'd like to call acts of kindness, well, random acts of kindness. It's a community initiative that the community initiative outreach leader, Precious Fortune, says is something that she's truly looking forward to.
I'm actually very excited about that because usually we're just out there just doing all things food assistance, and I like to say we're the first responders of food assistance. But next week we're kicking off Hands for Hunger, Random Act of Kindness. And for me, they say RAK, but I call it H for H, rock. And I think that's what I want to see people do next week, H for H, rock, or H for H, RAK. And this initiative is just saying, well, you know what? We want you to be kind. We want you to show compassion. We want you to maybe send a text message to someone you know needs some uplifting. Maybe compliment someone today. Maybe give a hug. Maybe pay for someone's meal. Maybe take someone's bike to the car. And so next week, we want to tell people, I expect us to be kind every single day. But next week, we want to go the extra mile and say, well, you know what? Let's be kind every day next week.
So if you choose to participate next week, they're asking you to post pictures of your random acts of kindness and hashtag your posts online with the hashtag H4HRAC. The easy part about this initiative, according to Fortune, is that spreading love and showing love to others doesn't always mean that you have to dig into your pockets.
I always like to say this, together we can make a difference, right? Together we can make impact. And people always feel, okay, for me to make a difference today, I have to go out and I have to spend money. I have to give someone $50 or $10. But no, it's so important for you to realize that you can share someone's business flyer on Facebook. You can share someone's event that's coming up on social media. It's the little things that matter. It's the little things that count and goes the long mile. And you know what? I want people to see that you don't have to dig into your pockets, but just by waking up and saying, you know what, I'm gonna make a difference by making someone smile today or just going the extra mile, that's all that matters.
Well, Hands for Hunger is not the only one that's looking to spread a little love next week, but local entrepreneur Riel Major, who has a knack for creating sweet treats with berries, is hoping to make the day just a bit sweeter. She's actually a former reporter with the Eyewitness News team, and these days she's flexing her entrepreneurship muscles in her company, Berry Sweet Treats.
My clientele has grown tremendously over the last few years, so I'm grateful for that.
That's Riel Major. She started Berry Sweet Treats in 2018, and with growing clientele, she's become a pro at creating special gift ideas for special occasions. And with Valentine's Day fast approaching, she's invited me into the kitchen with a pair of gloves in hand to see just how she creates her Berry Sweet Treats.
So this Valentine's Day, I will be offering this brown box. As you can see, we have some extra sweets in there, some drizzle action going on, some beautiful sprinkles. And then my second option is you get a smash heart with 6 berries, and underneath there's an assortment of chocolate.
She taught me the ins and outs of dipping and decorating. And in the end, we tried out our work for the day, and I must say it was pretty good. And of course, I got to take my swing at the smash cake. Haven't heard of it before? Well, Major explains exactly what it is.
So you are provided a mallet. You take your mallet and it cracks, yeah. And the heart is made out of chocolate, so you can eat it as well.
Smashed it and enjoyed even more treats today. Now, if you're looking to get your hands on her Berry Sweet Treats for your special Valentine on the Day of Love, here's how you can do that.
You can find me on Facebook at Berry Sweet Treats, on Instagram at _.berrysweet, and you can contact us on WhatsApp at 807-1002.
Well, that was quite an enjoyable experience with Riel today. We wish her all the best with her business venture as Valentine's Day approaches next week. Well, we're jamming with Jose again tonight, and this time he tells us about a young lady who is hopeful that her talent of singing will someday land her on the big stage. Here's that feature.
You missed out on a good thing, and I know
23-year-old Devonia Adderley has become a locally renowned songbird with aspirations of one day becoming a global music phenomenon. Eyewitness News was able to get a glimpse of her performance at Fusion's Edge restaurant recently, where scores of individuals came to show their support. However, like many others, Devonia had an early start.
I first got involved into making music when I was about 6 years old. I was writing poems from then, and then I just started writing songs with more meaning when I was about 12 or 13.
It was from that moment she realized that music is something she wanted to do at the professional level. She got enrolled at the University of the Bahamas and obtained a degree in voice performance. But here's the reason why she decided to take music so seriously.
Because it's basically therapy for me. So I find it really peaceful when I write down what I feel, and I'm able to let it out that way. And then it turned into a profession because I realized, hey, I could profit from this, doing something I love, so why not?
Fast forward, she's written and produced a number of songs that are now on digital streaming platforms.
Like Bias Forever, that's my baby. I wrote that when I was, 15 years old. That's out now. That was my first single. I Have Better Now out. That's a really deep, vulnerable song. September. These are all vulnerable songs. So I guess when people listen to my music, they can hear how real and raw I am with it. Also, I Got Missed Out. It's a fun song out. So I guess I'm versatile.
But aside from being in the studio, she says she loves being on stage.
Like tonight, I'm just having fun. I'm just having fun. Ain't gotta be all serious. I'm just having fun. I see my friends. I hear my band. We sound great. I just love singing and performing and letting myself out on stage.
Devonia contends that she's looking to take her career as a vocalist to the next level.
This is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just the beginning of where I want to take my career. And I plan to be performing in front of hundreds of thousands more people. So, in God's timing.
And for those who are looking forward to more music from Devonia, she says stay tuned.
This month, I know I've been preaching this for so long now, but yes, I have an EP dropping. Stay tuned for that. Love you all.
Jose Etienne, Eyewitness News.
Well, still to come in Eyewitness News, the latest in sports with our Randy Smith.
Good evening, Theo. Well, today plans were announced for the 36th edition of the St. Valentine's Day Regatta. Also, CARIFTA tickets are now on sale. Hear more about it coming up in Eyewitness Sports. This segment of the news is brought to you by Hennessy, the spirit of sports in the Bahamas. Good evening, everyone. I'm Randy Smith, and welcome to Eyewitness Sports. Sitting up tonight, the 36th edition of the St. Valentine's Day Regatta was announced today at the Island Gal Restaurant and Bar. Boats from the C and E classes will compete for the prestigious trophies at Montague Bay on February 18th and 19th. The event, which is sponsored by Cuba Libre, will also feature an onshore concert for the first time. A number of Bahamian artists have already been confirmed. The Valentine's Day Regatta is put on in remembrance of the late Eliezer Johnson, one of the pioneers of the local sailing community.
Some of the participating boats are Dream Girl, Whisper, Cobra, Lady Eunice, San Sally, Flash, and Uncle John. This is the first St. Valentine Regatta since the passing of Barbara Day. We are inviting all fans and friends of the late Eliezer Johnson. Each night there will be a Bahamian concert featuring Dylan, D-Mac, Blondie, Nishi Ellis, Veronica Bishop, Melody, Ira Storr, and backed by the Chad Collie Band. We would like to take the time to thank our sponsors, Cuba Libre, Streetside Pizza, Caribbean Bottling, Bank of the Bahamas, Johnson's Trucking, Johnson's Barbershop, both 1 and 2.
ABA ISS Action 4 champions were crowned in basketball last night at the Kendall Isaacs Gymnasium. All of the series ended in straight sweeps, beginning with the marquee matchup of the evening. The CW Saunders Cougars senior boys topped the Prince Will Falcons 54-40. Ramon Woods led the way for the Cougars with 22 points, including 10 of those points in the third quarter, while Kamari Minnis had 19 points in a losing effort for the Falcons. In tennis news, pro player Justin Roberts won his first tournament of 2023. Playing at the Palm Coast Tennis Tournament, Roberts won a perfect 5-0 to secure the win. In the championship matchup, Roberts took down American Jason Leons and knocked him off in straight sets of 7-5. Also locally, CARIFTA tickets are now on sale and can be purchased at the CARIFTA 50 Track and Field website. The 50th edition of the games are set for April 7th through 10th at the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium. Well, that does it for us in sports, but stay tuned. Eyewitness News continues in a moment. I'm Randy Smith. Have a great evening.
Eyewitness News.
Link up with BTC and call it one and done. Link up with BTC and call it one and done.
It's
It's hard to believe that we are marking the 20th anniversary of International Safer Internet Day. And the name says it all. It's a day that we set aside to remind ourselves of the importance of exercising precautions meant to keep us safe while using the internet. And so this year, BTC has invited students and administrators from high schools across the island here to the Fusion Superplex for a day of conversation and tips. And while the emphasis was on students today, the information is for all ages.
Learning how to be safe is critical. You don't want to be a victim of getting hacked. If you're somebody who has been building a brand and you have somebody who has hacked your Instagram profile, these are things that can cause you business. They can sabotage your account. So you want to be able to protect yourself. A tip I'd give to everybody who's using social media, turn on two-factor authentication. Being safe online right now is critical because we're talking business, and social media gets you a lot of money right now. You don't want to jeopardize that.
There are so many issues that teenagers have to deal with cyberbullying being one of the main concerns. And so we wanted to bring them into an environment where they could get positive feedback, positive guidance in relation to how to conduct themselves when these situations arise.
Kudos to BTC. You know, something like this needs to happen all the time, and I'm glad they're paving the way. To see what is happening here and to know the results from what happened today just tells me that people were excited, people were happy, and people were educated, and people are well knowledge about what their next step needs to be and how they can contribute to social media.
These are still the moments that move us. I'm Corval Pyfrom. Be well and be back here. Next, BTC Connection.
Well, Beyond the Headlines is up next with host Shanique Miller touching on the top stories from today's newscast. Well, that does it for us in Eyewitness News. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Theo Seeley saying thanks so much for joining us. Same time, same place tomorrow.
Expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
alive, still connected, still with you.
CARIFTA track and field tickets went on sale today, and according to the local organizing committee, the regional partners are buzzing with excitement and anticipation. Also tonight, government says all business license issues should be resolved by March 31st, and also some uncertainty with surrounding that alleged NIB hike set to take place in July of this year. Our Hot Topics panel weighs in on those issues and a lot more for you coming up. This is Beyond the Headlines, brought to you by Alive. Good evening, everyone. I'm Shanique Miller. Welcome to the show. Well, in less than 2 months, hundreds of athletes from around the Caribbean will compete over the Easter holiday weekend. Our LOC is working hard to ensure that we put on a world-class event. I'm now joined in studio by Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, Mario Boleg, and the dame of these CARIFTA Games, that's right, the 50th CARIFTA Games, Pauline Davis. Hello to both of you. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. It's great to have you here. I'm beaming with this smile because, Minister, I'll tell you this. I kind of launched on December 1st. I hosted that official launch. So I'm smiling because I feel like I'm a part of it already. It's really awesome. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, and I'm happy to be here for the first time, Shanique.
Oh, yes, it's good to have you on for the first time as well, and good to see you again, Pauline.
Good evening, Shanique, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, Minister, let's start with you. You have your hands full. There are so many major events happening, starting, of course, with the 50th CARIFTA Games. What does this mean for the country to ensure that these games go off seamlessly?
Well, it being the 50th anniversary of, let's go back to CARIFTA. We're celebrating 50th anniversary of CARIFTA, which is next week here in the Bahamas. 50th anniversary of CARIFTA Games, 50th anniversary of the Bahamas. So this is just a year of 50, 50, 50. And so with us being the host of CARIFTA Games, which this CARIFTA being the event, the marquee event that all stars in track and field in the Caribbean would have been birthed from. And we just so happy that in the 50th year, we are now bringing the future of the Caribbean elite athletes here in the Bahamas to compete in the front of our home crowd. And it is uttermost important that we put on a show that represents, emulate what 50 is as being a part of the CARIFTA Games. And we just want to make sure and let the other Caribbean know we know how to do it right here in the Bahamas.
Oh, I can imagine it's going to be amazing. The Bahamas sure does know how to put on a major event. We've done it wonderfully in the past. What is this, the fact that we are aiming to bring these world-class athletes, the junior athletes, but the CARIFTA Games have gotten the attention of the world. Many world, clubs and meets pay attention to our CARIFTA Games. What does it mean to bring them back on Bahamian soil, and how does it sort of fuel our fire?
Well, again, this is the birthplace of some of the greatest athletes in the world. When you look at the Caribbean competing in the Olympics, so the NCAA and college teams know that when you come to the CARIFTA, that's the elite of the young persons in the Caribbean. So they want to come to CARIFTA and see if they could find that diamond in the rough, that next future star that can be on their college team, that can help lift their college program to the next level. And so what I want the Bahamian people to do is come out and support our Bahamian athletes. They are uttermost important that we support those young people and show them that we appreciate them and we care for them. And my ministry is going to do all it can to ensure that we get the best athletes we can to represent our country and do whatever it takes to make sure that they're well prepared by their coaches and get the best treatment that they need to ensure that we have a great showing come this CARIFTA.
Minister, I'm going to ask this question. You can answer, and then I want Pauline to pitch in. How is that going, by the way, preparing our athletes, our junior athletes, to be at the standard of the others, especially, the other country that wears, I think, yellow and green, that one. Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, how is that going? And then, Pauline, you can jump in and talk about the training and what other preparation is going in to make sure our athletes are ready.
Well, we have started a talent search for some few months back now from the latter part of last year, where we would have gone through the various family islands with some of the various coaches who coach clubs here locally, and to try and find those diamonds in the rough. We have been able to identify some. There's also been search to find our athletes that is in the United States and competing and are doing well, who are at the age level to compete. And so it's just a matter of the B3As along with the local organization committee, along with the ministry, to ensure that we bring all of these young people together in the time frame, which is going to be the end of March, when we have the high school nationals and the CARIFTA trials all in one, where we'll have all of the best athletes we could find around the world and in the Bahamas competing to make this CARIFTA team.
Awesome. Pauline, yeah, jump in. I mean, I hear the minister talk about this sort of, I guess, scouting that's taking place even now, nationally and internationally, to bring the best of the Bahamas back here to compete.
Definitely, Shanique. The Bahamas is known as a mecca for athletes, in particular track and field athletes, and we have produced so many great athletes. The majority of the Bahamians who go on to do great things came through the CARIFTA system. It is the biggest junior media in the world. It don't get no better than this. And the coaches are trying to get the athletes ready. My ministry, the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, and our minister, Mr. Mario Boleg, is throwing every effort behind to make sure that the athletes are ready, that they go out there and that they're prepared, and we're just going to be running for gold. That's what we're running for.
Yes.
Gold, baby, gold. We want to make sure that they're ready to do that.
Absolutely, and if these shirts, the shirt at least that you are wearing, that's a part of the whole national 50th Bahamas CARIFTA uniform is any indication, we know we're running for gold, right? How has the reception been, Minister and Pauline, so far locally? And we're happy to see, I mean, quite frequently, almost on a weekly basis, many sponsors coming on board. It appears as though the Bahamas is behind this and also proving so with its money, its dollars, eh?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a brand. Again, I say CARIFTA is a brand that any corporate organization within the Caribbean or the regions of the Americas will want to be a part of this brand because, yes, it represents the athletes that we know will be the greatest and best athletes in the world outside the United States.
Yes.
And so, therefore, it's easy for the LOC to approach organizations such as Oak Tree, Scotiabank, Alive, and many others who would have been a part so far to be able to raise funds, to make the burden easier on the government to be able to come up with the necessary fundings to put these games off. It is a projected cost of between $3 to $5 million to put these games on, and thus far, in kind and cash, we would have raised some $1.5 million. So it shows that we're moving in the right direction. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy to know that I would have to go to Cabinet for less funding at some time in the future. So we're going to continue with our push, and we're going to ask all corporate sponsors that please come on board. And like our slogan say, come gold with us.
Come gold with us.
Yes,
I love it.
With us.
Yeah, I totally love it. Let's just talk before I even move on with the questioning. At the top, you heard me say the excitement is building even for regional partners. How are the other countries? I think about 17 to 20 countries will be here, athletes, right? What's the anticipation and excitement in those countries that you can say?
Well,
or Pauline?
Well, I can say this much. A week before last, I was to the Ministers' Youth Sports Conference in Jamaica, and I challenged and invited all of my colleagues, sports ministers, to come on board. And I had challenged the Minister of Sports in Jamaica that we will see a lot of that black, yellow, and green, but we want them to know that when they set foot on the soil of the Bahamas, that we intend for them to see a lot of aquamarine, black and gold in front of them.
That part.
And so she is excited, and when I made that statement in the conference, everyone started to talk about, well, they should have some surprise for both of us. And so it's exciting to know that not only the ministers and the athletes themselves, but the countries are looking forward to this 50th anniversary competition.
Because it's major, and I love what you said. I didn't even know it was a third 50. So it's the 50th CARIFTA, the 50th CARICOM, the 50th Bahamas anniversary of independence. Just amazing. Will this serve as a bit of a launch pad as we look to bring back the World Relays, which is next year?
Yeah, well, we will use this not only just as a launch pad, but just as the preparation comes for the repairs for the stadium, as we are doing so right now, and to ensure that it's a safe environment for persons from throughout the world to come and watch the CARIFTA games. We are repaving both the old and the new track at this time, and doing some minor cosmetic repairs so that the stadium will be safe. But we will shut the stadium down at some point after CARIFTA to ensure that we get it ready for the World Relays. Please understand, and I want the Bahamian people to understand this, you have to compete in the World Relays in order for you to qualify for the Olympics.
Yeah.
So every country around the world must come to the shores of our Bahama land to compete in the World Relays in order for them to qualify to be in the top 16 countries to go to the Olympics.
Yes.
So definitely we want to ensure that we have a facility up and running and up to par, that we have all the media persons from around the world come to our shores and see what production we can put on when it comes to track and field.
and listen, they're going to see online, because I know the LOC has so much different arms moving, and then the various agencies that will be here. So they certainly will have a good glimpse, a Minister, a wonderful glimpse of what you and your team and the crew and everybody else has come together to produce this year.
Most definitely. And I must take this opportunity to thank the LOC that has been doing a tremendous job, along with the CEO, Mr. Lyndon Maycock, and his team. And these people have hit the ground running, and they're not even looking back. I believe they're part of the race, and I don't know if we can catch them anymore.
I kind of think so too, yeah. I kind of think so. Let's just talk about something else that's on top that people may not be aware of, but I've heard Sip Sip already, so people are excited. The Bahamas Games.
Well, the Bahamas Games are back. It's scheduled for July 7th to the 15th, but will coincide with the Independence 50th anniversary celebration. The excitement is definitely in the air with all of the island sports consuls, who are now in preparation of getting ready to draft Bahamian athletes from around New Providence and Grand Bahama, who are descended from the various islands, to be able to go back and represent their islands. And we want the Bahamian people to know that there's a whole generation since 2001. Persons are under the age of 30 have no idea or any recollection of the Bahama Games. So, we have to now reinvent the wheel by teaching them what the Bahama Games is all about. I can tell you, I had on the shade the other day, said Bahama Games, and the gentleman asked me where that number house is. So,
what?
So because it's a
oh my
games,
God. Yes.
I had to educate him and say, no,
but it's been a minute since we had those games,
yes.
But how dare you?
Years. 21 years.
21 years?
Yes. So 2001 was the last. So when you look at it, kids adults who are 30 years old would have been very young then, so they wouldn't even have an idea. So I had to say to him, it's an Olympic style where the family islands compete against each other in the various sporting disciplines, and let them do that. Oh, well, the New Providence is going to take advantage. They say, no, it will not, because not everybody who lives in New Providence are from New Providence. And so persons have the ability to go back to the islands from their descendants and compete with that island. And that's what makes the competition much stiffer.
So awesome. I agree with you. It's so amazing. Now, Minister, I do not want you to plead the fifth on this. Pauline, you have to follow and answer this as well. Have you seen any of our athletes for these upcoming, especially CARIFTA 50, that stand out so far, or that you have high expectations for?
But Pauline would have to answer that more. She pays most attention to the athletes in the day-to-day practice session. I saw a few, but again, until that day of CARIFTA trials come out, because there are some that are not on the island that is going to come and compete against them and fight for that spot. So I wouldn't feed the fifth, I would just feed the sixth.
Great answer. Paulina, who stands out? We want to know so we can start to get excited.
Shanique, I do not want to put the athletes on the spot. I don't want to call their names, but we have several male and female athletes outstanding. There's this one particular young man that could do like 5 or 6 different events and be phenomenal at it. And we're very excited about him. He definitely is Olympic gold medal potential athlete. And we have a few females that are also very outstanding. If you pay attention, I notice a lot of our females are a little bit more taller now versus back during my time. And having height as a track and field athlete, in particular as a female, is very beneficial.
Okay.
It's very beneficial, because you take less stride to cover, say, 100 meters or 200 meters or 400 meters, because you have the more longer strides. When you really think of some of the athletes back in the day who won Olympic gold medals, and when you look at them, you see that they are much, much taller. And I notice here in our country now, our females are a lot more taller than what we were. And there's several of them there, but I don't want to put any pressure on them. We know who some of them are already. I'm sure that Joe Public already knows some of these athletes, but I continue to watch them develop, and they are going to do some amazing things for sure. They're definitely going to gold for us. I feel strong about it.
Yes.
But I just don't want to call their names, because I don't want them to feel extra pressure.
We praying, we doing all kind of, what else we need to do, Minister? Just let me know, so I can tell the country what, you know what I mean? But no, we want yes, of course we are praying, but I want our athletes, the country, of course, is excited about all these games coming up, and for our athletes to do very well. Speaking of athletes and world class and Olympian and world champion, etc., you both have had a chance to speak with Shawnee and congratulate her, no?
On this birth-to-be?
On the birth-to-be?
Yes, I did. I publicly congratulate her on a Twitter page, which I see she responded to, and I want to say congratulations to her and wish her all the best.
Absolutely. Pauline, I imagine you will get that. You'll get around to it after CARIFTA.
Yeah, well, you know, I say a special prayer for her, that she has a safe delivery, because, you know, athletes, we tend to have issues. And so I'm keeping my fingers crossed that everything goes well and that she deliver us a future Olympic champion.
That's it, that part right there. A future Olympian. Yes, of course. In the 100, maybe? In the 100, we want that.
She's tall, her husband is tall, so I'm sure that baby's going to be tall. So whether it's a boy, whether it's a girl, I mean, I have a preference. I would love for it to be a girl.
Really?
And be, I would love her.
I think, well, you need a nice male, so you know what I mean. We need a nice male 100 meter, you know, maybe 200 meter as well, and a 4x1 to do what we need him to do.
It's time we get someone in those categories.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Let this happen.
Shanique admits you both have a point, but I just have an affinity for girls. I don't know. And with Sinead being tall the way she is, and, you know, those nice long legs, and I just kind of would like to see that again.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, Pauline, you know, as we wrap up, as a former CARIFTA standout yourself, you know, people like you, Usain Bolt, a number of our regional athletes, as the minister said, started at these games and went on to do incredible things on the world stage.
Correct.
So you are one of those people. Any advice for our athletes as they prepare for CARIFTA 50?
All I say to them is that I would say to them that pride run deep into 242, which they already know that. When you put on the black, gold, and aqua green colors for our country, you become a superwoman and a superman. And you at home. This is her 50th. And we come from the most beautiful country in the world. And so when you get out there, just remember that. Make her proud. Get around that track, get down that track, get into that pit and do what you got to do. You know what you got to do. Because we Bahamians, we never scared. Y'all know that. We never scared.
Awesome. Great words. And I'm sure, as he said, that you hang around the athletes anyways. So I know you drill that into them almost daily.
Yes,
and so that's really,
that pride run deep. That's our saying as athletes. Pride run deep into 242, baby.
The 242, absolutely. Yeah. Next time you all come, please bring me this top, this blouse, because, you know, I need to show off and make it look like but I thank you very much, Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, Mario Bolag. Of course, the dame of these 50th CARIFTA Games, Pauline Davis. Thank you both very, very much, and we are rooting alongside you as you go and take the lead roles in bringing these games and making them happen here in the country this year or next year. So thank you both for stopping by this evening.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Don't go anywhere. Beyond the Headlines is back right after this break. Stay close.
What if I told you that the future is here? That is not some magical door we walk through, but a place we create. It's home. The fastest, most secure, and reliable way to stream the internet, so you can do what you want, whenever you want. That's the power of Alive Fiber. The future is Alive Fiber.
It's smart. Cancer pushes us. We push back.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines, brought to you by Alive. And so, of course, by the way, I want to say right now, you would know, but the minister wanted me to say this. The Grand Bahama Junior Junkanoo Parade, I think, has been pushed back till later this month. The New Providence Junior Junkanoo Parade that was happening right now on Bay Street. So listen, as you stream this show live, yes, absolutely. On the flip side, go cheer on the Jurin. You know, so of course he wanted me to say that. But yeah, I totally enjoyed having the Minister of Sports here talk about the major events that are happening this year or next year as it relates to sports. And so we're going to shift gears and talk about some national issues. There's so much in the news. I don't even know where to start. I don't know where to start. I wonder if I should, by the way, welcome panelists Leslie Miller, who is here, and of course Heather Hunt. Hello to both of you. How are you all doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
I think, in order so that y'all don't think I'm mischievous, which story stands out to you all today? Which headline? If you take too long, I'm going to jump in.
Go to the business license headlines.
Okay, fine. Let's just start. Leslie, fine, let's just do what we do. And Leslie, don't try to spy my notes. You stay focused and you stay focused there. So let's do it. Okay, so a number of business owners, many of you, of course, would certainly know about this, have been quite upset because you want to go and renew your licenses and a whole number of stuff, but there's been this backlog, this bottlenecking that's been happening. And so it's prevented you from doing banking business and just really carrying out and operating your business as you should. And so Minister of Economic Affairs, Michael Alquita, says, listen, this is all going to be squared away by May 31st, the end of May this year, March 31st, the end of March this year. And so Alquita's urged the public to bear with the government as he pledged that all business license applications will be processed by the end of March. Here's some more of what he had to say.
Reporting as best as they can is accurate. The law empowers Inland Revenue to request additional information. So, for example, if they see a return that just does not make sense, it's too low, and there are different categories of business. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to be accused of pointing any fingers, but you might have a business who that they did not make $20,000 last year. All right, and you have ways to check this by customs imports, etc., utility bills, all those sorts of things. So that in this particular case that is an underreporting, and so it is incumbent upon them to do some checks, because it goes. If we look at the big picture, all of us are taxpayers, and all of us are required to pay our share. And so the Department of Inland Revenue cannot just look the other way and someone is providing a number and just take the number at face value.
Well, there you have it. So, of course, the complaint, Leslie and Heather, has been from business owners and wannabe business owners, that the process to get things processed from Inland Revenue and the whole just is a number of things you have to go through to get these licenses has been really slow, very, very slow. You heard the minister say just now that a part of the issue is, I guess, ensuring that everything submitted is correct. And the documents are correct as well. Certainly, of course, Leslie, for business owners to hear that it's all going to be, the cobwebs are going to be cleared away by the end of March, etc., is a good idea. But how do you, Heather, as you even said, how do you kind of almost question what somebody is submitting, or be able to determine that?
Well, Shanique, businesses making under $100,000, we have now become accustomed to having a very smooth and easy business license renewal process. So any delay, and I understand that they said it will be cleared up by the 31st of March, but this is really going backwards because we are now accustomed to the new ease of renewing of business licenses for small businesses.
Yeah, because where did this bottlenecking happen?
So I understand that government has to protect its revenue. We are a responsible country. We want to collect our revenue, okay? But small businesses, that's businesses making under 100,000, they have already benefited from the modernization of that process. So going backwards to me is not an appropriate thing, even a good thing for any administration to be bringing into place. And then on top of that, slowing it down for the small businesses, we're seeing new requirements, because now you're saying to a business owner, in order for you to submit your business license application or before it's approved, I, as the business license holder, I'm the tenant, I have to provide evidence of my landlord's real property tax. So what are you saying to me then? Go to my landlord, I probably don't even want to bring that subject up with them, find out what their real property tax is. They have to print that out for me, and I go take it to Inland Revenue before you can process my business license. This is like unheard of. Leave the small businesses where they are, focus your revenue
Because what if
enhancement on
that-
the other businesses.
Right, because of what if that landlord's real property tax isn't up to date or where it where it should be, which is up to date, then what does that mean for the person applying for a business license?
And then the question is, what do you do? If they have arrears, do you deny my business license? You really can't, because that has nothing to do with me. So then you're turning me into the enforcer and the police on my own landlord. I mean, putting all the other, bottleneck and slowing down of the system just to one side. That one particular thing is just an irritation that you're putting small businesses through that is really unnecessary. When you have other businesses that are declaring over the threshold, and focus your revenue enhancement on them. I mean, my view.
Those are your thoughts?
Well, I was of the opinion that businesses doing less than 100,000 was not subject to all of these rules and regulations that is coming into force. I'm surprised to hear that these small organizations, small entrepreneurs, are facing such strains that it puts a damper on their businesses.
Well, what Inland Revenue did a few months ago or weeks ago, came out in public and said, basically warned the Bahamian people, saying, look, there are too many, in our view, businesses that are declaring that they are under $100,000.
Oh, I see.
We have more than we have about 40,000 businesses, and it's our department's position that we are not quite sure that that is correct. So those 40,000 people, like I said, who would have been accustomed now to a smooth process, because the department has taken a policy position that, you know what, we just don't accept that there are that many $100,000 businesses, we're going to put them through a new set of scrutiny, and that is what's causing, to me, this backlog. They should, in my view, deal with the higher threshold businesses and leave the smaller business who've grown accustomed to this good, smooth process, leave them be.
I believe one of the problems is that if the government is of the opinion that these small businesses over the many years have now increased their value, they've increased their threshold for income, that is sales and what have you, that perhaps some of them might have gone astray and now everybody's paying the price. In other words, a guy would have started off at say $80,000 a year and he was under that 100,000 mark, let's say for 4 or 5 years.
Right.
But you see the guy expanding his business and he's still turning in the same receipts.
But in an instance like that, when you can see the expansion, you can see the growth, whether by documentation or just by plain eyesight or both,
Yes.
then you target that person versus sort of clogging up the entire system and going after legitimate small business owners who their revenue is under 100,000 a year. It really,
and bear in mind too that the small business sector is really the backbone of our economy.
It
They
is.
create more jobs than the big boys, and they make a contribution. And most people will tell you in the business world that some of the big fellas get all the breaks,
Yes.
and they do, okay? Because whatever they submit to you, you accept it because they have an accountant sign off on it, and you figure because of the name that they have, or they would have had through the years, you don't even question their integrity. And you don't scrutinize them as much as you would the little fellow who's just trying to get a foothold in the market. On the other side too, you will find some of the bigger businesses establishments in this country would go out of their way to inform the government that XYZ is now making more money because they're cutting into my customer base. Because being president of Light Industries Council, which we formed in '73, they collude with each other to see that you don't become a part, don't become a player in the local market. They do that, you see? And it puts more pressure on the small guys to go to business. And many small businesses have died over the years. I mean, there's a whole history of them never exceeding their threshold, because within 5 years, and admittedly realize now in business, any new business don't normally last more than 3 years. 90% of them go under in 3 years. So it's very difficult in the marketplace like the Bahamas to become a successful small businessman, not unless you have a special niche that you can feed off.
Right.
And it's a difficult situation. I think the government, they say the end of March, that's a long time. You're talking about 6-7 weeks. What is going to happen during that period when you have to do your banking, when you have to get your license to even be paid? Because remember, everybody's asking for TCC.
Yep.
If you don't have your TCC, you're out of business. it's difficult to function. So I would trust that those responsible would step to the plate and speed it up as fast as they can. And within reason, that is.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? Within reason.
Absolutely. Leslie and Heather, Press Secretary Clint Watson says he cannot confirm. You all remember, of course, there was a headline saying that NIB rates are going to increase this July, and then, but the government, no official announcement, by the way, and then it's just sort of been a waffling on it. And so he says that the cabinet, though, is mindful of the increases that could negatively affect the Bahamian people. I'm wondering if we, I don't know if we have an SOT on that, but the thing about it is that it can negatively affect. Here's another tax, another increase. People are saying, wait a minute, how much more are you asking of this one salary? How much more? And so it is projected, unofficial again, that it's going to be about a 1.5% rate increase. And this is just the first in a series of increases. But again, you heard Watson saying that no official word has come from the government or cabinet, and so but give your opinion on that. Your thoughts on NIB? People are saying it has to increase. Because of we hear that the fund is depleting or
Yes,
has been depleted.
Yes, it is.
But others are saying, wait a minute, how much more are you asking? Heather, you want to jump in first?
I can jump in. On the subject of NIB, I have a really, I guess, strong view. This is a serious problem that one government or one minister or another is going to have to resolve. Mm-hmm. And they're going to have to resolve it within my lifetime and my children, because at this rate, the persons who currently run the Bahamas still have most likely enough time to receive NIB benefits. The problem really affects persons my age and younger, because we are the ones in the future who may not have a pension to collect. So this NIB problem is very serious for all Bahamians, but for younger Bahamians who are still working and contributing to that fund and are not sure that they will have all the benefits to collect. That being said, I think all of these mixed signals and hypotheses and speculation on NIB is not safe for the country, and it's not safe, or it's not wise. You have the minister say that, yes, we have a serious problem, we're going to have to do something, we're going to have to make some decisions. The prime minister then says, no, maybe we don't have a problem, we're not there yet, it's not, then someone else, the press secretary comes, no, the government has not made any decision. Look, please, NIB is a serious problem. We know it needs to be addressed, but I don't think this is one of those situations where we be risky and irresponsible. This government needs to make the hard decision, and I don't think, in my personal view, it should be out here in the public domain until they've made a decision and let the Bahamian people know, A, what we're facing, 2, what it's their plan to fix it, and then after that, we as the Bahamian people will decide whether that's something we can accept. That's what I think.
Yeah, Leslie, you have a thought on it before we move on?
Yeah, this situation has been grappling us now for a few years. And I agree wholeheartedly with what Heather has to say, because it has to be dealt with. You have a situation there where NIB funds are running out for the future.
Yes.
In 20 years, it'll probably be totally depleted if we don't deal with it now. Now, the government is proposing these incremental increases.
Right.
You said 1.5%.
Yes.
Well, I would prefer to pay that than to see my children and grandchildren left without any safeguard with their future. This is a serious matter. The government should deal with it right away.
Right away.
I agree with you. The minister is saying one thing,
yes.
someone else saying something else. It's not necessary. It's going to come. It has to come. Go ahead and start the implementation of the increases. Bahamians always going to raise hell about any increase, but this increase protects and enhances the welfare of Bahamians everywhere across the board. It has to be done.
It does.
Just has to be done. Do it.
It does. It
Do
does.
it.
I mean, the timing, and you're right, the timing may never be right because my God, with inflation and the cost of living and all the rest of that, and people are saying, wait, another thing? Okay, wait, BPL went up and this went up and the next thing, and an egg is $1 trillion and all this stuff, but you're right. This issue has to be tackled.
Just consider this premise. It's never a wrong time to do the right thing.
True.
And you have to do the right thing to save Bahamians' future. You know, there's old people that are going to get old, who's over 60 and 70, that needs NIB. You can't afford to risk our future. Get it over with. You have an increase, we're going to live with it. But make that decision, please.
Yes, absolutely.
I'd
Make
rather pay that than
Make it now.
sugar or
Everything will be-
salt tax.
Exactly. Make the
And
decision,
sugar-
get it over with.
We need to pay a sugar tax. That's
I'm
all,
just
perhaps.
saying, I mean, I'd rather pay more in NIB
Exactly.
than pay the sugar or the salt tax.
It has to be done.
Yeah.
It has to be done.
Tax all. And what about the sin tax? Anyway,
Well, you know.
I know, right? Listen, let's shift gears now. And Heather may not like this shift, but let's go there. Leslie, I want to hear your thoughts. I'll start first with the leader. As you know, in the House of Assembly yesterday, the Free National Movement, the opposition rather, the official opposition stood up all 1, 2, 3, 4, all 6 of them.
6.
All 6. And they said, where are the questions? If there's no question period, if this session is not for questions, then you all ain't got nothing else to say. And that's what they did. The House was suspended. It'll be reconvened the 20th of this month, right? Which is after CARICOM, so a week after next. So Leslie, now, spurred on by that and emboldened by that, the leader of the Free National Movement, Michael Pintard, says, listen, this just starting, y'all. The F&M turning up the heat. The opposition going to turn up the heat on this. F&M leader says senior public servants will be called before the PAC, the Public Accounts Committee. Your thoughts on this sort of new or renewed, bold move, bold stance, strong language by the Free National Movement and its leader? Leslie.
Well, when you have Dr. Minnis fighting at his heels, and the guy got to say something and do something to keep him off his back.
You think Michael just saying something?
This situation with the government answering questions has been going on for years and years. The 30 years I've been in and out of Parliament. You know, Mr. Ingram, Mr. Christie, Perry, Christie, the PM, Sir Linden, you know, they do it when they want to do it. You know, you get frustrated because you want it answered. The same thing happened with Mr. Davis when he was leader of opposition.
Yeah.
Most of their questions were never answered.
Yeah.
And it's a game that you play. You frustrate the guy because most of the questions are so irrelevant because the facts would have already been stated and debated on in Parliament. They feel it makes no sense to go through this again. The question you're asking is what we debated before. But it's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
But, you know, this new bravado by the leader now, most of his fight is really between himself and Dr. Minnis.
Well, don't go to Dr. Minnis yet, because Dr. Minnis look like he have something up his sleeve. But you think that Pintard, see, let me read something before Leslie respond fully. Hours after a rowdy but brief sitting at the House of Assembly, during which time the government failed to allow opposition question time, opposition leader Michael Pintard pledged at a hastily called meeting at the Free National Movement headquarters last night to up the heat on the Davis administration. And he put senior civil servants, well, yes, absolutely, of course, all that. So he's just calling everybody into account now.
Can we stop right there for 1 minute?
Yes, go ahead, yes.
When the present government was in opposition, and they tried that with top civil servants, they showed up and gave no answers. They were told by the people that you don't have to answer them. So I don't know how he figured. Well, he maybe have a point there because most of those top civil servants were appointed by the F&M administration. So they may be their buddies or what have you.
Yeah.
They may decide the answer. But it's a game really because what they may be trying to do is say, look at what we did when they went after us. Now are these guys doing the same thing or are they going beyond the pale? So let us know. It's just it's a communication effort to get publicity that I'm now the tough guy on the block.
So you
knowing that Dr. Minnis is right in the background, waiting for him to falter.
You can't leave Dr.
So
Minnis alone.
you're just waiting for me to jump in, eh?
Heather, jump in. Heather, what is this big, bold, bad Pintard about?
Let me tell you
Really
something.
from Ragged
No,
Island
I can
now,
tell
you
you.
know.
Let me
He's a
tell
Ragged
you.
Island man.
Let me tell you because you started off by saying that the leader of the F&M has turned up the heat. Let me back that up just a little bit. The people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas have turned up the heat on the government of the Bahamas.
Oh.
And the members of the opposition who represent those people who have turned up the heat on the government have taken a bolder stance in the House of Assembly, as you see yesterday. Those gentlemen all in the House of Assembly, represent the people of the Bahamas, and they're duly elected, and they are there to fight on behalf of the Bahamian people.
Was Dr. Minnis there?
If
no,
you
he
realize,
wasn't.
well,
So 7 members, Leslie.
he wasn't there,
No, I
but
said Dr.
hold
Minnis.
it.
Was he
That's
there?
what I'm saying. It's 7. I count
you
6
count
and B
six.
said, but it's 7, so he was not
I.e.
there.
Listen,
The big man was in there.
I.e. the big bad dog wasn't there.
so when I'm making a good point, you won't go back to minutes, but I can get there. Hold on.
I have a separate question to ask you all with minutes, but
So-
I just entertained
And
Leslie.
so the leader of the opposition made a bold stance yesterday in the House of Assembly. The very powerful and impactful picture is all over both newspapers, and everyone in the Commonwealth Bahamas knows that all of the opposition that they have been stirring up in recent months, while the opposition was trying to, or well, not trying to, but actually did carry out letter writing, normal communications, trying to speak in the House of Assembly, doing things in a more measured tone than what they did yesterday. Well, when all of those efforts failed or yielded no fruit, you see now they're upping the ante in the House of Assembly. And I believe that the people of the Bahamas were relieved and glad to see them do so.
So you're saying that the people are applauding this bold move that is more assertive.
But Shanique, you hear the people every day. I've never recalled this early in an administration, 18 months, not even 18 months yet, every day on the talk shows, people demonstrating, voice notes,
So you're
even
saying the tide,
up to death threats.
Are you saying the tide?
I've never seen this much opposition this early on.
You're saying the tide has turned against the PLP already?
I believe it has turned already. I believe the people turned up the heat, and the people turned up the heat first, and the opposition is now turning up the heat in the House of Assembly.
But in reality, if you listen to the talk shows and those people who call the shows all the time, you're hearing the same voices over and over and over again.
But Leslie, those voices
And
create a narrative.
No, in addition to that, you also have Lincoln Bain and his crew, the lady who's his assistant, whatever her name is. They also, doing things to get publicity, to shine a light on what is going on. I think overall, the Davis administration is in sync with the view of most Bahamians. I think
Leslie,
the biggest problem as I see right now is the same thing that Head and I agree on. Deal with NIB.
Leslie, question, has the tide turned against the PLP?
No, I haven't seen that at all in my observations going through most of the constituencies in New Providence.
Yes.
No. No,
okay.
not at all.
It looks like I'm being told to take a break. So I hope that we're going to come back with a few minutes, because we can focus in on Dr. Hubert Minnis when we come back, guys, because he is here, and it looks like Dr. Minnis is drumming up support to get back in the top spot in the F&M.
And he has
We're going to talk. We're going to talk about that when we come back right here on Beyond the Headlines. Stay exactly where you are. Beyond the Headlines is back after this.
With over 25 years in business, nothing says commitment to our people, culture, and service like Rev. And this year is no different. We will continue to elevate your home experience for you to create and share memories for years to come, while keeping you connected to the people and things you love most. Our pledge to provide quality service each year remains true. Rev is made for you.
Tired of driving around from place to place just to get your car insured and licensed? Frustrated with the process of being back and forth from your insurance company to road traffic? Well, BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers just made insuring and licensing your motor vehicle as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Visit us at the Road Traffic Department, Section 1, Thomas A. Robinson Sports Stadium. At our office, you can purchase or renew your insurance or get your vehicle inspected. We at BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers represent major carriers. Step 2. See the professionals at Road Traffic to get your vehicle licensed. Step 3. Enjoy your day. Insure with BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers today, saving you time and money. Your one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Great rates, convenient, excellent service. For more information, call us at 322-2221.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. I was just kind of reading something. Listen, so let me share with you all. I'm going to see exactly where this discussion goes. Welcome back to this segment. Listen, Dr. Minnis, everybody sort of saw it taking shape and figured, oh, so what is Doc doing? Is he planning on, well, it seems sort of unofficially official. Listen to this in this letter to the editor. Minnis supporters will draft him at the next F&M convention. Please allow me to anyway, yeah, whatever. I observe that after my comments appeared in your paper on Monday, such and such. Okay, firstly, let me say that no amount of attacks will shake the support for Dr. Minnis in this country. We in the opposition have precious little time to mount a serious offense in the battle to reclaim the government of the Bahamas for the people of the Bahamas. The leadership of the Free National Movement will be settled on the floor of the convention, and the next convention is set for February 2024. Time, friends, wait for no man, and those who wish to waste time may do so with their own. The business at hand and the position is the man best capable of leading the Free National Movement to victory at the next election. I have already stated Dr. Minnis is that man. I can affirm that his supporters will draft him at the next convention.
Okay.
Leslie, okay, go ahead. Heather,
you shoot the ball to me first?
Heather, wait.
All right.
It seems, again, people saw Dr. Minnis and some of it appeared almost like it just like happenstance, right? But it's taken root. And Dr. Minnis is now he is leading a health program, a health initiative in his constituency. I mean, making the rest of us facts who trying to run health on businesses and stuff. He offering free help and hope. Then Dr. Minnis responds to a lot. The media goes to Dr. Minnis to ask him his opinion about anything that's trending, anything that's topical, and more than likely whatever he has to say makes headlines. Dr. Minnis is in the House. He is doubling down and hitting and doing against the government. That makes headlines. Heather,
yes.
Is Dr. Minnis poised to reclaim or regain the leadership of the Free National Movement?
Okay, so you put the article to me, so this is my response. Firstly, Dr. Minnis is the immediate past Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. He's been out of office less than 18 months, okay? He has a legacy along with his administration to defend. And so, of course, as all former prime ministers do have that right and obligation in some cases, to speak out, answer reporters, he will be sought after, okay? That's the first point. Secondly, he's the duly elected member of Kalani and shows up in the House of Assembly to fight on behalf of those people and the Bahamian.
Hold on, Shanique, you asked me now. No fight.
Hold
Leslie,
on, no.
I want to hear you.
No, you asked me.
Kalani don't need no fight.
Kalani
Kalani is someplace over the hill. Kalani don't need no fight.
Okay.
Go ahead, Heather. Go ahead.
They have Bahamian people, just like every other constituency, who duly elect an MP who they don't expect to be quiet. I don't elect my MP to sit down and be quiet, so why should Kalani elect Hubert Minnis and expect him to be quiet? That's the first one. Now, I don't know who wrote the article that you
it wasn't it was a letter to the editor. It wasn't an article.
Well, letter to the editor. But the reality is, two things they said in that article are true. One, the F&M convention is not until 2024. So between now, 2023, and 2024, this duly elected administration has 1 year to carry out the mandate of the opposition, and that is to hold the government's feet to the fire. Yesterday, you would have seen an open declaration of what this new administration of the F&M is going to take to the PLP. And as for me in the position I sit, which happens to be deputy chairman of the F&M, that is the focus of this administration. I, for one, and the officers and the duly elected members of the F&M don't need to be drawn into
Dr. Minnis, a distraction.
Fight.
Wait a minute then. Listen, Vice President of the F&M, save that little bully in there for your little piece of meat and all the time.
From now.
Dr. Minnis, is he a distraction then to what is it that y'all are doing?
No.
The minute the leader came out and said, hey, this is what we're doing. Here's Dr. Minnis on the other end just speaking about anything. Is he a distraction?
No.
Are you all afraid that he's going to be leader again?
We are not. I mean, I am not. The F&M is not. Like I said, he's doing his job.
What is chances you think of being leader again?
Well, we'll have to have that conversation in February of 2024 and not a day before.
Leslie, let's talk.
Listen, Dr. Minnis just lost as leader of his party. We've seen it happen so many times before. Leaders go, leaders come. it's difficult for most leaders to accept defeat and accept that someone else now are running things in their respective party. I think in this situation, Dr. Minnis, for whatever reason, first of all, as I understand it, he did not contest your last convention. He did not go
offer
against
himself
it.
for leadership.
Yeah, so
things were too hostile there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Leslie.
And I think
He's now building this thing.
He's in a mode now that he must feel in his mind that he has the capacity and the support of sufficient members of the Free National Movement that will enable him to return to the top spot in that party. I think what is alarming is the fact that you have a leader of opposition, minus the last former prime minister, that is nowhere to be found with the group of 6. And he was the leader. And there is a rift, there's no doubt about it, there's a serious rift with him and
the Pentard
the leader
FNM.
now, the Pentard group, going head to head as to who's going to lead the Free National Movement in the next general election. But you also
the question doesn't
Leslie,
arise as yet. So
No,
there
No, Heather. We are
there-
going according to what's trending, what's in the news, and so we're speculating and we're using.
That's exactly what we're doing,
Exactly,
speculating.
and that's what we're doing because obviously it's playing out in real time like a soap opera in front of our faces. Leslie, is Dr. Minnis a distraction? Does he have whatever it takes to regain leadership? You think?
I would never call him a distraction. I mean, he's a very intelligent man. He had an opportunity to run the Bahamas for 5 years. He chose 4 years and 3 months, I guess, to do so and call an election. I think you need to look at the caliber and the personality he voices the current leader. There's a rift there. I don't know whether it could be cemented by those 2 gentlemen and those around him. I'm told now, rumors have it that, in fact, pretty soon, Dr. Minnis may take a group of his men in Parliament up to Government House and dethrone the current leader the same way.
But Leslie, wait, who are the MPs in Parliament?
He has enough. I'm told that he has.
Leslie, you've never been shy.
He has 3 solid guys with him.
Heather, who are the guys who are with Dr.
At least 3 solid fellas with him.
I have no idea.
That they can make that. Mind you, it happened. You remember it happened. I was in Parliament when it happened,
But guess what?
There.
We're not. Guess what?
We see what happened.
This is not. No, this isn't something. Guess what? At the end of the day,
Heather, as deputy leader of vice chairman.
Yes, deputy chairman.
Deputy chairman of the FNM. You are. Leslie, let me ask you, who are these people that are sort of more sympathetic to Dr. Hubert Minnis?
Let me tell you
who are in Parliament right now.
who are in the House of Assembly right now.
I know who they are. The 6 that I'm right here.
Thank you. And what they did yesterday, 6 duly elected opposition members of the FNM got up and they demanded that the government answer the questions that the Bahamian people want to answer.
Yes.
That was a show of power, a show of unity, a show of strength. And what, of course, we are now doing is pandering to the critics and pandering to persons who want to detract from the powerful photo of the unrelenting FNM MPs in the House of Assembly yesterday. And that's fine because we need to make good news and we need to have a very exciting rating. So I understand all of that. But as for me,
you think
that fight, if it comes,
are
is
you
coming
saying that
later
the
down the
author
line.
of that letter to the editor is trying to detract from
Absolutely.
what is clearly...
How coincidental when the FNM has dominated both papers today, both headlines, top of the fold today, when all night last night on social media, FNMs far and wide were tuned into another powerful exhortation by Michael Pintard last night that the unnamed person who does not come from behind their pen name comes to sow another seed of distraction.
All of these events took place.
Heather, there's one host. You hush.
Leslie, what you asked the question?
All of these events took place, minus Dr. Minnis.
That's right, Dr. Minnis. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this then, Dr. Minnis. Since Leslie won't beat all around the bush, and Heather, like she's someplace in the UK talking to us over here in the Bahamas.
He has this 3 minutes. We saw it happen in real time.
You asked me who the seven
Loretta
were.
Butler
I
Turner.
tell you.
I didn't ask you that. I never asked you that.
And I tell you
Leslie,
who they
who are
were.
the three?
Who they
Loretta
are.
Butler Turner
That's
took
who
her
they are.
to the government house.
That's who they
and
are.
they took Minnesota. No?
Leslie, I want to ask you this. Who are the three?
He got three.
I already tell you who the six are.
You need to tell me
He
that.
has three of them fellas
But I
that
was
will go with
saying,
him.
Dr. Minutes, if you want to lead the F&M, seriously, I think our leaders, though, our former leaders make this mistake. This would have even been more powerful if the seven of them were there standing up in this photo and in the parliament yesterday saying, until you give us the question time, that is by policy, a part of the rules of this parliament here, we will not let you speak. If he was there, more powerful. Don't, if you want to lead this country, lead by standing beside Michael Pintard and if you were ever re-elected again to be leader of the Free National Movement. This little dodgy game here and there will not work. And they may say, you all may say it's not smart politics, but I'm speaking. But people are tired of the divisiveness in any organization right now. Dr. Minnis, nobody's saying that maybe you can't contest it, but contest it right beside these guys standing up beside them. Leslie, who are the three?
If he has this streak, Pintard will be gone. It takes 4 of the 7 to win.
And you're saying he has a 3?
He will go to government house, just like Loretta Butler Turner did on him, and he will just shift it around. They did it to me, now I can do it to them.
How's my straight face going?
I'm dead serious.
Okay. Your straight face? I believe you know exactly who the three are. Who are Minnis boys?
It happened.
You don't want to say. Who are the Minnis boys?
Most of them who are Minnis boys.
Most of them are Minnis boys?
Most of them know who are Minnis boys.
And Heather know who Minnis boys
Okay.
are. She just don't want to say, I don't get it.
You got Grand Bahama.
So the F&M is...
Who Grand Bahama?
You got Long Island.
Couple in Grand Bahama.
You got Long Island.
The two Grand Bahama guys and Long Island, that's the 3. With Dr. Minnis, that's 4.
And who's left?
Who's left is Adrian White
right.
and Shannon Dawn and Michael Pintard.
Okay. And who gave Shannon Dawn his plate?
Michael.
No, I say when he was chairman.
Dr. Minnis.
Okay. And the other fella there.
Well, I mean,
if
you go there, I mean, he nominated all of them, so that means everybody in there. No. I mean, come on, that logic just doesn't go.
Let me sort this out.
White brother may do anything.
And then we get back to work.
He's independent. He can go anywhere. He ain't gonna bother him. Because he's there for one purpose.
What are you there for?
To protect the brothers. All right?
Listen to me, Adrian, where you stand? That's what we want to know. Adrian White, where do you stand?
Okay.
Let us know.
He has to
so
protect.
That means Dr. Minnis has the majority.
And
you were saying the game plan is to get that majority that he has and that support that he enjoys, according to Leslie Miller.
Yes.
Go to government Hill House and say, listen, we have no confidence. Is that what you're saying?
It happened to him.
You remember what happened the last time that happened?
I know. Yes. I know. It all fell flat.
Do we remember?
So yeah. Anyways,
history is a good lesson.
We will continue to kind of sort through this whole maze of what's happening in Parliament on the members, the 6 members there, plus 1.
Meanwhile, the heat's being turned up.
Okay, turn up the heat. The minister's turning up his own heat. I tell you that.
By himself.
By himself, single-handedly.
He gets just as much play as them, you know.
Listen, Leslie, say it again. No, say it, Leslie.
He gets just as much play as any one of them, and all of them collectively. Dr. Minnis gets just as much press as all of them.
That's all I was trying to tell Heather.
That's what he does.
Dr. Minnis, he's a menace to you all. Anyway, let me just me joking around, guys. But yeah, no, Dr. Minnis is really, I tell you, he's getting his own heat, his own traction, his own everything. But hey, we will continue to look at this and sort this out for you here on Beyond the Headlines. It's some of it is all in fun. And of course a whole lot of seriousness as well. And so I thank both Heather and Leslie for entertaining this line of conversation and discussions this evening. Thank you all so much for joining us this evening. We look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.
My name is Barbara Wilson, and I'm a pharmaceutical director, sales and marketing at